This is Ohio.
Stories of the quietly heroic.
You hear a lot about election fraud, stop the steal, those kinds of stories in the news or on social media.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I saw a story like that almost every day leading up to the most recent election.
You know what you don't see?
What's that?
Stories about the people who actually run the elections, give up their time, do the work.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that. And then we met Brian Mead, director of the Licking County Board of Elections, and he invited us to tag along with him on Election Day, see what really goes on there.
And so we did.
I pull up to the polling station at the Foreign Legion on Election Day. Brad Jones is walking out. I ask him if he feels secure that his vote and all votes will be counted fairly.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. Yes, I hope so.
Okay, that's a good answer.
All right.
At another station, a voter named Rocky Tate tells a colleague of the reporting project, "After the last one, I have no idea. I'm just waiting for everything to go haywire tonight and for them to steal it again."
So what are you wanting to do? Do you want to come with me for a little bit or
I'll
what?
just come around and see.
This is Brian Mead. He's the director of the Licking County Board of Elections. He's agreed to let me hang around today to see just what goes on behind the scenes of an election. He needs to bring a couple more voting stations up to Johnstown, where there is a line, and then he needs to swing by his polling place to vote. I tell him about the two responses I mentioned above.
Well, it's sad. It definitely is. But there is a lot of forces that are playing into it. So in 2020...
He talks about media bubbles and echo chambers and social media, how conspiracy theories work, essentially a grain of truth, which is then wrapped around with something outright wrong. How foreign players use algorithms to intensify these echo chambers and sow discontent in the U.S. population. And he blames TV, saying the CSI factor is real.
CSI factor is real. Folks think you can just
People just believe unrealistic things can happen because it happens on TV shows all the time. He also told me something I didn't know. The Licking County presidential results of 2020 were challenged.
On the conservative side, I mean, a lot of people believe the pillow guy. I mean, he had his own thing out there. He had a mathematician called Dr. Frank that's from Ohio that was telling everybody that the boards are all in on it, and basically Republicans and Democrats that are working there would have to be in on it to rig an algorithm to say this is how many votes that Trump should have got and Biden got, and they said Trump should have got 8,000 more votes in Licking County, and it's not. Unfortunately, we have gotten so more grown apart.
Had they narrowed it down to Licking County?
Oh yeah, they went through the whole counties in Ohio. He went like they did the whole
I
nation.
would even doing that because he won Ohio
Right.
by such a...
Well, their argument is he really won the popular vote.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, and see, I think we are at the point that we really only talk to the same fractions.
Yeah. By the way, Brian is a Republican. His deputy director, Tess Wigginton, is a Democrat. All boards of elections in Ohio are led by a member of each party, and the system is layered all the way down. For example, when machines or other election materials are transported, there must be a Democrat and a Republican in the vehicle. Elections work is a unique sphere where people like Brian represent their party, but their partisanship has a boundary. I'm a referee, Brian says, again and again.
So we're going to bring two machines in here. Hopefully gets this line down.
Yeah, there's a line here.
Oh, there's lines.
Wow.
There's lines. Go to Franklin County and see real lines.
Brian checks in with poll workers about where to put the new machines.
Let's see where we can put one.
I talked to the station manager, Chris, about why she's doing this work.
I'm retired from an IT career. I worked for the government for 30 years. So I understand technology. I understand the technology that goes into running something like this, and a lot of the uncertainty about things attached to the internet and things being hacked. And so I thought, well, I'm a good person to be on the inside. If you want to make sure it's secure, you need to know how things work. So I don't. There's nothing here that makes me think it's not secure. It's out there. They plant the seed of doubt in the media, and then it runs rampant, right? So,
What's your name?
my name is Chris.
Yeah, your last name. I saw Chris. Your last name?
Do you need a last name?
You don't have to give it to
I'm
me.
not giving
but
it to you.
You don't?
No.
Well, I wonder, can I take your picture?
If you don't want to, it's your thing.
No.
Don't
No.
worry.
Okay. But I have permission to use your audio? I mean, it was really good.
I don't care, yeah. He want to know why I got involved.
When we get back to the truck, Brian turns the tables a bit.
I like Kristen. I tell you her last name, but I'll tell you, your industry has gotten the distrust too.
He's not wrong. Did you hear what Chris said? They plant the seeds of doubt in the media, and then it runs rampant. Is it the they that's the problem, or the media? Brian misses the days of a less fragmented media.
Honestly, it used to be a better yin and yang to working with you guys. Not saying that's bad, but like people used to believe you more, so they would get your information. So me posting the doing an ad that says close of registration is October 7th, a lot more people used to see that.
Yeah.
I enjoy talking about politics and government and stuff like that, and I have many liberal friends, and I have some really way conservative friends too.
Yeah.
And it's just, I mean, it's sad that a lot of families and friendships have been broken up because you can't even have a conversation and just say, hey, I agree to disagree. Let me see who's this.
Brian's phone rings again. I'm connected to my phone, he'd said earlier. His job is to make sure everyone today gets to vote and every vote gets counted.
Cut the line and go up front and ask for the location manager and tell them you need to vote a provisional, and I'll let the location manager know you're on your way.
If there are any questions, the most common one is that someone has moved and they didn't update their address with the Board of Elections. He gives them a provisional ballot. Then the staff has 2 weeks after Election Day to make sure they didn't vote in their old district before counting their vote in this one.
No, but I will. So what is your name? And I will call him and tell him to expect you. Sometimes I will vote early and just come and test them to see, make sure they give me an absentee ballot.
We get to Brian's polling place. He keeps things loose and relaxed, one of the reasons his staff obviously likes working with him. He also keeps them on their toes.
I could ask you to tell me your name, sir.
I'm Brian Mead. You guys missed my Bert and Ernie joke.
Tell us.
What's Ernie's favorite ice cream?
Sherbert.
Mary here did a tour of duty for early voting. She was a poll worker in our early voting center, And then we bumped her upstairs to help open ballots and stuff like that. So Mary's had a fun month.
When I ask Mary Whetstone about voter suspicions of fraud, she asks me if she can share an example.
Working early voting, a woman cast her vote, verified on the screen, verified on her ballot, and it was how she voted. And then she says, my husband saw on YouTube that my vote will be changed when I cast it.
She assured the voter that in Licking County, votes cannot be changed in the system. Then she shares themes I hear from poll worker after poll worker about civic duty and community.
I don't think anybody does it for the small stipend. It's civic duty. I mean, we have this gentleman here. He's a new poll worker, and that he just wanted to become involved, and it wasn't because he was questioning how things were being done. He felt that it was his civic duty to become involved.
After Brian brings me back to my car, I go over to my own polling station, Cherry Valley School, and talk to a poll worker affectionately called Prince Harry. When I ask him about rumors of voter fraud, he mentions all the reasons it can't happen.
Well, these machines there's no way they can't be set up to the internet, you know. Everything's right here. There's scanners up there. All the information is in them 2 scanners. Ballots, there's a stick in there that has all the same information on them. There's no way it can get out of here. Yeah.
So what makes you do it?
What makes me do it? I enjoy it. One other thing is my wife just passed away. And that's what keeps me coming back this year.
We're doing a story on the integrity of the election, and we're asking people just how confident they are that their vote and all the votes will be counted fairly.
Systems seem good. I mean, you've got to at least hope that it's getting counted. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Cool. Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I had some experience volunteering at the polls in high school, so I feel like those are some good folks in there. So I feel like it's nice to associate some real people with it as well.
I think it'll be just fine this year. I think that they got a lot of updated stuff going on, so I think it'll help out. And I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Sorry,
I don't have any.
You don't have an opinion?
No. No. We'll just see what happens.
It's a little after 7 in the Board of Elections offices. Brian is running a pool. How many folks will have cast their votes today?
For turnout tonight, when we all said and done, unofficial count.
97.
97.
Oh, you're low. You're low.
You went like.
Crock pots of food simmer in Brian's office. There's a community vibe as staff and board members reflect on how the day went.
Yeah.
You guys,
Reynoldsburg was unbelievable.
off the chart, wasn't it?
Holy
I
cow.
kept bringing more and more sheets.
Yeah, I went.
Bobby and Terrell helped Bobby out tremendously. It was good team effort.
They're a good team.
Yeah. And then Bobby's the location manager with Kevin.
The board is comprised of 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats. Since the director, Brian, is a Republican, the chair of the board is a Democrat. That's Freddie Latella, and at 7:30 he calls an end to voting.
All right, I'm going to officially close the polls. They are officially closed.
If you're in line, good luck.
Once they're in line, they stay.
Yeah, they stay. They get to vote. They're already in line.
Earlier in the day, I had asked Freddie what his response was to the constant story about possible election fraud.
It's scary because, you've got people out there working hard, and have great integrity, and yet, there's people out there saying that, the elections all over are being compromised.
They say a lie can travel halfway around the world while the truth is putting on its shoes. What if the truth is the better story? All these people Freddie mentions, the Republicans and Democrats, out there working hard with great integrity, they are so much more interesting than Mike Lindell making up a crazy theory or a presidential candidate complaining about fraud. Here's what happens in this office once it's time to start counting ballots.
So 8 o'clock we'll do our first upload.
Brian clears his plan with the board.
It has the early and 99% of the mail absentees that we have. You guys know about 8:30 we start getting the precincts.
Right.
Okay. I say we keep scanning everything.
By about 8:30, vehicles start arriving from polling stations.
Hey guys. 3, 4, 5. This is Legend. We have 5 green ones.
Perfect. Sit them up on the table. Get them put away.
A Democrat and a Republican ride in each vehicle. The most important devices from each station are special thumb drives that hold voting data.
There's 2 scanners in each precinct.
Right.
We are just uploading those thumb drives.
Okay.
And to that computer there.
Okay.
And that just uploads all the results in there. So if Carson had 812 people vote, it'll show 812 and then segregate out. Trump gets this and Harris gets that and blah blah blah. So it's a real easy.
Hard copies of ballots are preserved just in case. A certain percentage of them will be audited in any event to check the system. The system is impressive, but the people, they are more impressive. I see one board member, a Democrat, tap another, a Republican, on the arm and say, "Now don't you leave me tonight." Honestly, if I saw any possibility of fraud, I'd tell you. I'm sure I'd get more action on my story. Instead, I hear stories like this.
So my mom's been a poll worker for 10 or 15 years.
Is that right?
Yeah. So as soon as I turned 18, she said,
"There you go.
You're coming with me."
Yeah.
And then I did that for a couple years until Brian asked for help down here.
That's Cameron Cato, a longtime temporary election helper. It's easy to create a theory, to make an accusation. It's harder to do the work to preserve a democratic ideal. And these workers here, who've already been up since before sunrise, they'll be here until midnight, counting votes.
I think I got my second win. I don't know how long it'll last.
Why isn't this the better story?
These guys drug me out of bed pretty early.
Legends is second. What? Jersey's first.
Excuse us, we're going in there.
Thanks to voters for talking to us as they left the polls, including
Shane Hardesty, Catherine Carrier, Tammy, and Tyler Nunnery.
Thanks to all the poll workers, election officials, and election board members for their time, and especially
thanks to Brian Mead for an enjoyable and educational day.
This story was produced by Jack Schuler and Doug Swift.
And edited by Doug Swift.
This Is Ohio is funded by the Denison University Research Foundation.
Music by Matt Jackford.
To see a version of this story with pictures of the people in this story,
because this story is all about the people,
and to hear and see more great stories about those living quietly heroic lives,
you can go to our website at This Is Ohio Podcast or
visit the mothership at thereportingproject.org.
can also catch our stories podcasting wherever you get your podcasts.
See you wherever you serve your democracy.
See you there.